right, welcome to the Real Sphere. I'm Samantha Tunador with Atlantic Coast Mortgage, and I'm joined today by a legend, Kelly Gayton with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services PenFed Realty.
You got it. You got it.
It's a mouthful. Kelly Gayton, just say Kelly Gayton, that's all you need to know because she is the magic there. To give you a little bit of background on Kelly, she is somewhere around 20 years in the business and she is a top agent in her game, not only in this marketplace, but in the company. She's held the #1 and #2 positions in a pretty major company. I'm sure you've heard of that, Berkshire Hathaway. So in their various markets, they're huge and she is the biggest of the biggest. So as an independent agent, I might add, she really truly runs her business like a legend would. So Kelly recently made a big move in her own home does Maurice go by Maurice or Mo?
Either one.
Either one. Maurice the cat. So it's been wonderful being on her journey and following along as her life as a real estate agent. But I want to dig in and ask you some questions. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I did a little bit of cyber stalking. But I know a little bit of your real estate story because I feel like I've known you throughout all those years. But from your words, what is your real estate story?
You want the short version or the long version?
Give us the long version.
Okay, so I grew up in Occoquan with my parents who ran a business, and I watched them running a business, and I saw the work ethic that my mom and dad put in. And my father started investing in real estate when I was probably in middle school, and on the nights after work he would go and work on the properties, fix them up, rent them out, and he acquired a nice portfolio of rental properties that my mother managed. So between the two of them, they ran their electrical business during the day, and at night they would do books or upkeep the properties or whatever. When I was in high school, my father said, let's do this together. Why don't you get your real estate license? We'll buy the properties, fix them up and flip them or keep them. And I said, that sounds wonderful. I was an administrative assistant when I was starting at 18 years old. I worked my way through different types of companies. I ended up with engineering companies. I ended up at Freddie Mac. And when I was at Freddie Mac, I was about 23 and my father passed away. So we didn't ever have the chance to work together, but I did get my license when I was 21. So I've been real estate licensed since I was 21 years old. What can you do at 21 years old with a real estate license? Absolutely nothing. You have to keep working. You have to show houses on the weekends. You have to kind of mix that business up. But my mom still retains all the properties that she and my dad worked together to build. And that's amazing. And I've helped her sell a couple of those. But I decided after I finished my stint with AOL and Freddie Mac that I was going to delve full time into the business that my heart wanted to be in. And when you do something that your heart wants, it's not work. It's a career that you build over time, and you just put one step in front of the other every day, and you get up and you do the things that need to be done and take care of the people that you're working with. And at the end of the day, you succeed. And success might not happen every day. You might have a day where you fail miserably or something isn't going right, and you just have to take a walk, clear your brain, change your setting, do something, and then above all, just be grateful. Just be grateful, and it's gonna pass, and then good things will come back, and that's how I've done it.
Oh, I have a couple questions from what you've said. I do think the win comes in recognizing the days that you have success. You see those more than the days you see the failures,
right?
Because you are going to have failures, but if you count the wins,
right,
they'll always outnumber the
right,
failures,
right?
So, and I love that. Take a walk, and your most recent home is right on a walking trail, right?
It's on the WNOD bike path, so hence the tan. I do wear sunscreen, but I'm out there every day, and that mental break for me is huge.
Yeah,
just to get out of my own way.
I'm a fan of the sun and the vitamin D.
Good.
And then so your mother, I would imagine you've been able to see her build a security blanket around her, having those properties that have, as you said, you've been able to sell them. You sell when they're high, when you need income.
Right.
right? You hold on to it for a monthly income.
She does. There was one that was fully depreciated, and she the maintenance became more than the revenue or the income. So she decided to let that one go. And but she still has a nice portfolio. And my mom's 80, and she still runs circles around me. She can do books. She does her own books, and takes care of the tenants and takes care of the payments and all the things that need to to be done, which is amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That I think about having aging parents myself, and knowing that they have that security and that stability is peace of mind. It's reassuring. You can go to work each day and know she's okay also.
She's okay. And she knows if she needs me, I can help. I can do whatever she needs done if she decides she's gonna, take a month off, which she won't do, but
clearly you have two experts there in the family,
yeah.
and I no doubt your dad would be very proud.
Thank you.
You grew up in this area, Occoquan, and which is not far from Loudoun County. Thank goodness for the newer roads.
Right.
It used to be a little harder to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 20 years in the industry?
Well, I was licensed at 21, and I took my license inactive for a couple of years while I worked and just, made a life and just survived. So I got back into it in 22. So I went back to Alan Martini's class at DAR and just reactivated my license in 2022. I'm sorry, in 2002. My brain. It's Monday. It's a Monday. Yeah.
So 20 years ago now,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
21 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
full time, and I worked for various companies over the years. And in 2008, I connected with Sue Paleo, and she's my broker, my mentor, my friend. At the time, the company was Prudential, Carruthers. The Carruthers family owned it, and then they were bought by PenFed, and Kevin Wilds and his crew kept most of the same people. Tommy Carruthers is still there. I just feel like it's a big family that's just grown. And Berkshire Hathaway took us over, and I'm there. I've been there since 2008 with the same people.
That's great.
And I'm very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, we moved here 23 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So from a real estate standpoint, when I moved out to Loudoun, I just remember seeing you just blossom. Like we had some fun, with. Do you remember the point-to-point races? And we did that big picnic with all the doll houses and the food. And that was a lot of fun.
And everybody brings their stuffed foxes, which is strange because I had like 3 of my taxidermy foxes, which I no longer have, but I did fox hunt too. So that was one of the fun things when I came to Loudoun. My horse background helped me out a lot, so I was able to jump in and go fox hunting with.
Great from a connection standpoint.
Really great connection.
And you mentioned working for Freddie Mac, local kind of government type entity, but also AOL, which would have been kind of the early days of AOL. So lots of connections in this area.
I still have a lot of Facebook friends from AOL. I'm not going to name drop, but because I appreciate you guys keeping me on and not getting sick of my real estate, my cat, whatever else crazy stuff that I post. But it's really fun. I love having those connections.
Well, when you say the crazy things you post, I use you as an example all of the time because if you go on as a real estate agent and you say, I'm on vacation, I'm on my boat, that is, oh, leave her alone. She's not working right now.
Right.
Versus you have been so consistent for as long as I can remember using social media to just say, 3 closings today, 2 contracts ratified, 1 walkthrough today. Walking land is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm golfing, but I'm also working.
But you're also walking land.
I'm also walking land. So golfing might be with clients or friends or new people that I haven't met before at the club or at a different place. So I feel like everything I do is always the end goal for what I do for work. I mean, my work is not just my work, it's my career, it's my life, it's my lifestyle. I do take days off, I do take vacations, but I just, people don't need to know when that's happening because it should be seamless.
Right.
And I have a lot of assistants that make sure that if I am away, that things get covered.
Right, smart. It's a good use of your resources. But what that did was it hung an open sign. Most days. And it was clear what you did without having to go into a long story. You were like the original 140 characters, but 14 characters.
Okay.
Like you made it really obvious. And I know you were omnipresent. Like you were there with a sign on the street, you were at the office, you were at the meetings, you were doing all of the things, but you had a platform where you shared broadly that you were open for business each day, and you honestly did it before most agents did.
I tried. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I just had that really good repetitive, you get up and you do something every day and it becomes a habit. And that's what I did. I mean, I walked my dog. I just, get up and then you go to work every day.
Yeah.
So, and let people know that you're there to call.
Well, I have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
I think you've probably already answered this one, but specifically, is there one person who inspired you to get into real estate?
Okay. Would be my dad.
Yeah.
Would be my dad. And I think my mom also is my biggest fan. Because she was right there supporting me through my licensing and all the things that I had to do to get the first license. And then, when my dad became very ill with cancer, he still pushed me. He still said, you got to do this. You can't let this go. This is what you're meant to do. Yeah. And I believe him. I think he was right. He had a really good sense of being a people person, and he was a people person, and he knew how to take care of people and make them feel cared for. So there's a difference in somebody just going and listing a home and selling it for them versus saying, what are your needs? Where are you headed? What's your thinking? And then help them formulate the plan and see themselves in the new place before you even get their house on the market, so that they feel comfortable that that's going to be, okay, that's all the process.
Yeah. He saw in you and gave you that hope and that vision, and he was right.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
was so right.
I think so. I'm very happy with what I chose.
Good. We need you to be happy with it. So you grew up in Occoquan, which is Prince William, kind of at the corner of Fairfax County, south of Loudoun County. As a real estate agent, you could get licensed and live anywhere. Why do you live here?
So I would have stayed in Prince William County, but honestly, the sprawl that happened there was a little concerning, and the traffic that came with the sprawl was just not, it didn't feel, Occoquan is still very hometown, but if you try to go anywhere outside of the town for shopping or do anything, it's really just a hassle. And I felt that early on, and I had the opportunity to move to Leesburg, which felt like a hometown to me because it felt very similar to Occoquan and the small town feel. So Loudoun, having the green space and the mountains and all the beautiful places in Percival, Round Hill, Waterford, Middleburg, I just love having everything be about 15 minutes away from where I am centered. And then if I live right now in Ashburn, which is really fun on the bike trail, but I'm, 15 minutes to Leesburg, I'm 20 minutes to Percival. So I can go anywhere I want to in the county for work, for clients, for fun.
Right.
I love it. I love it. And I love that the preservation of land has happened here.
I think I've noticed over the years, like you had a huge influence where you lived, both in Hamilton and Percival. I see you kind of growing in that direction, but you also have 20 years of business and families growing and changing that seems to have taken you further west, closer in, north, south. Like what areas are you covering?
I do cover, Percival has been my kind of wheelhouse. The 3 to 5 acres or the large farms have been kind of my wheelhouse, but I sell condos, I sell townhomes, I sell wherever people need me is where I will go. What I'm starting to see now is a lot of people in my same situation where they're kind of at the point where they want to downsize. The kids are in college or they're getting ready to go to college and they want to move into a smaller home or move to the beach. And so I'm just helping them navigate that. Sometimes they'll want to have a rental or even just a small house locally and then move to their big house in North Carolina or wherever they're going to go. So, that's wonderful. And then I have also brought in families from Maryland who are wanting to be in this area for friends and for schools. So I sold a beautiful house last year right in Percival that had a pool and acreage, and they're so delighted because they came from Bethesda where there was a postage stamp of a yard in a 1960s Rambler. So I love that. I love having that opportunity to bring new people in to where I love to live.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about a commute anymore. It's more about the lifestyle and their stage of life.
It is.
Like I can totally see having 2 small homes.
Yeah. But these folks have 3 daughters, and they're busy, but they have a pool, and they love that they have a pool and they can have friends there, so that they know where the kids are at all times, and it's just the place where they want to be gathering. So I think that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen your dream home? Do you know where your dream home is?
My dream home? I've had lots of dream homes. I've had Victorian 120-year-old homes that we've renovated and fixed up. I've had, homes that are newer, but they're in a golf course community. I've lived in all the dream places where you'd want to live. I think your dream depends on where you are in life. So the dreams change. The dreams always change, because when you're young, you think, I want this huge house, I want this land, I want this farm, and I had all that, and I loved it. And I rode horses, but now I don't need that because I don't have horses, and I don't really need all of that space. So for now, I'm in my dream home, but that may change in a year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does the sign in the garage say?
Dream.
You're in your dream home.
I'm in my dream home.
Where was the first home you ever showed?
Ever showed?
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do, because I was in Woodbridge living there. I was living with my first husband, and I was in a townhome, and I went to show a property in Stafford. So it was a townhome in Stafford. Yeah.
Did you go under contract?
Not that weekend, but the next weekend we did. So I was working at Freddie Mac. I was commuting back and forth from Woodbridge to Tyson's Corner. And then on weekends, I would do open houses, and I would take buyers out, and I would, go do everything that I could possibly do. Occasionally, I had to take off on a Tuesday so I could attend a staff meeting, but it was rare. It was rare for me to be able to do the real estate life the way I wanted to do it at that time.
Wow. I didn't realize you started part-time.
I did. Oh, yeah. No, I did. I hung my license, and I tried to do everything.
I love it. What about the last home you showed?
Oh gosh. Most recently, I'm trying to think. The last home I showed was in Berryville, and my clients bought it, first-time home buyers, and they're very happy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Are you seeing a move west? Are people going out further for affordability?
I think right now the inventory is still so low, and the interest rates are kind of keeping things, stable. But I think that people, if they can't find what they want here, they'll go a little farther out if they're able to. So I think right now we're seeing that. Yeah. You can talk more about what rates are going to do and what you think is going to happen when they start to drop.
Woo! It'll be a race.
Flurry.
It's already busy,
it's
right?
Be a flurry. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, so you have lived between 2 different counties, almost 3 different counties, I guess.
Yep.
And I believe you focus your business here in Loudoun. Mm-hmm. Are you Virginia licensed?
Yes, only Virginia.
West Virginia, Maryland?
No,
okay,
only
just
Virginia. I think I like to focus in my market. So I don't feel like I can be an expert in many markets, but I really focus where I know best. So that's what I like to do. I will go as far as, Winchester, Aldie, Chantilly. I've gone even into, Fauquier County if I need to for clients. But if I don't feel like I know the market well, then I'll partner with one of my other agents in the office who does have, that extensive. Right. Like they'll go far.
Right. Well, in working with Berkshire Hathaway, you have a good referral and network to be able to help people across the country. Really,
I got a great. I just sold a great house in Bluemont. You saw the old house that was on my Facebook, and that was a referral from a DC agent that I've worked with for years. She's with another company, but we do business together all the time. She knows they're in good hands with me, and they certainly got everything they asked for.
That's wonderful.
I think they were very happy, and the house was amazing.
Yeah, it looked
great. Really fun.
It looked wonderful. All right, well, tell us about the most interesting house you have seen in our marketplace.
It might be that one. Huh. It might be that one that I sold in Bluemont, because it was definitely over 100 years old. It was on the mountain in Bluemont, on the Clark side, and it just felt very magical. The property was magical. The house had 5 bedrooms, and the family would go and stay, and they would all comp. Like there would be like 12 or 15 people in the house at one time. It had diamond windows, like these diamond-shaped like window panes on the upstairs, and in one bedroom it felt like you were in a treehouse because the windows were low and they would open. There was a pool, 11 acres. I mean, it was just a magical, beautifully landscaped property that when you got on the property, you just felt like, wow, I feel like I'm on a mountain vacation.
Truly a retreat.
It was really a retreat. Very fun, very fun. I love that.
I wish I'd had a chance to go see it.
Yeah.
We need to bring back houses being on the market longer and open houses.
That would be fine. I'd be okay with that. Knock on wood.
Oh goodness. What about, do you have like the sweetest favorite memory from all of your real estate transaction?
Oh gosh.
What, do you have something that just makes you, like, your heart happy?
I really have to say that I mean, I love helping everybody, but I do love the first time home buyer's story because, you know, a lot of times they're young, they're newlyweds, or they're about to be newlyweds, or, you know, or it's just the first house, and it's so exciting for them. And I want to make that process the best I can because I want them to know that this is a stepping stone. It may not be your forever home, but you're going to build equity and you're going to have an option to go into a larger home later if you want to, or maybe that's going to be it for you. Maybe that's where, you know, you want to live. But I try to make that, you know, that is always the sweetest for me, just helping somebody achieve that for the first time. It's magical.
It really is.
It is.
And the opportunity to build that wealth. What advice do you typically give to a first-time home buyer that sounds very Kelly Gayton advice?
Go slow. You know, take your time. Make sure the house speaks to you. Don't jump at the first thing that you can afford. Look at the location. The location is so important for people. And I've realized that over the years with my own personal moves is that I want to love where I live. That's my tagline, but I also want to love my location. That's a huge piece of it. So real estate is location. So yeah, I think that's important. And as the realtor, I've been in the car with a couple that I'm helping, not first time buyers, but I remember this was so funny. He had a budget and she had a dream. And we drove around and we looked at houses, and the budget fit him, but the dream didn't fit her. And I could tell, like, there was a push-pull in between. He was sitting in the front seat and she was in the back seat. Or maybe she was in the front seat and he was in the back seat. And at one point they kind of got into a little bit of a heated discussion. And I said, look, I'm not going to be responsible for a divorce. I'm going to show you a house that I think will fit both of your needs. Maybe not his budget, but definitely her dream. And he said, happy wife, happy life, show us the house. And they bought it.
Oh, wow.
And it was the house for them. And it was, I think he wanted $850 at the time for the budget, and the house was $950. And, you know, the lender stuff worked out great. It was fine. It was absolutely what they wanted. And they lived there for many years happy.
Yeah. I feel like from a real estate standpoint, having spent many years in real estate, it was push your budget.
Yeah.
You won't regret it later.
And they didn't.
Right. From a lender standpoint, we're like, buy a fraction of your budget.
Well,
so
and
there's a little push-pull there.
We talked about that. We said, you know, what is the difference in the payment with this additional $100,000? And I think at the time the rates were somewhere, you know, reasonably in the 4 or 5s. It wasn't a terrible rate. So it was just one of those things that sometimes as the agent, you have to listen to people, listen to what they're saying, hear them. Don't just, you know, hear what they're saying and they're actually telling you the truth. Like what they tell you they want might not be what they're showing you or what they are conveying to you. So a lot of it is psychological. Real estate is absolutely psychology.
I would agree. And a lot of patience and empathy.
A lot of both. But I try not to get frustrated because I know what a big purchase this is for them. And I'm just, if we keep hitting the brick wall, then I kind of back up and go, what am I missing? And I may talk to Sue, or I may talk to one of my other agents' friends, and just kind of, you know, or a lender. I may call you up and go, what do you think about this? I'm hearing this, but they're saying that. And a lot of times you just can bounce it off of somebody and go, that's what we're missing. You know, let's try that.
You become the problem solver.
Absolutely.
Dig up the problems.
Absolutely.
You mentioned their price point and they went up and where the rate might have been. You've sold a lot of houses over time.
Right.
And do you know how many? A lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like 200 million, is that an accurate number?
Oh gosh, I think I'm
in
closer
volume.
To 350.
350, you need to update your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Not a priority.
Not a priority, I'll get there.
350 million in properties, it's a lot of properties. Yeah. Did people buy the house or the rate?
Always the house. So when people are shopping, I'm gonna use myself as a prime example. I wanted to change my location. I wanted to put my investment in the Ashburn market because of the metro, and I thought that the timing would be good. But the rates were, you know, 5.75, 6%.
Yeah.
I sold a house with a 2.85, you know, interest rate. But for me, the location made sense, and I don't mind the rate right now because I know I can refinance that when it changes. and it may or may not be the long-term house. So you have to decide what your time frame is. And so I always use myself as an example because I'm like, I had no problem selling and buying in this market.
Right.
And I think buyers are not feeling as panicked as they were this time last year.
Sure. Well, and we've bought a lot of homes over the years, and not once did we ever do it because of the rate. Now, it might have empowered our price point.
Sure.
But we bought a home. We didn't buy a house because of a rate.
Exactly.
And generally when people, you're not selling houses, you're selling homes.
Right.
You're that whole lifestyle, how it makes them feel,
Right.
how they're going to grow into it, how long they might be there.
Yeah.
So I think in general, the conversation, where, as you said, people are getting more comfortable. It's kind of shifting back to like, what are your needs?
What are
Let's
your
meet
needs?
your needs versus buying because of a rate.
Right.
So, all right, well, who inspires you outside of your family to be the best you can be? Where do you find your motivation, inspiration?
I have one very close girlfriend. I have my sister. I have, different people at different points inspire me. My girlfriend, together, when we spend time together, we have a good time and we laugh and we play golf, but she is very successful in the corporate world, and she's done some amazing things. And I take inspiration from her, just seeing that she's done all that and she still enjoys life and she still has a really good outlook. I try to surround myself with positive people. Negative energy doesn't work well around me, and I don't know that I don't want to change that person's outlook or try to put something happy on a person who's not happy. So I just try to surround myself with people who are positive and upbeat. And I think, looking at my sister and just how she does things and how she's overcome things, she's pretty amazing. She's pretty inspiring. So I just look at, and my mom too. So my mom's, she was a widow at 45,
Right.
so, and raised 3 children that all by herself.
Right.
Well, we were up a little bit in age, but she still for us every day.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Well, you clearly radiate at a higher level. Like the energy you give off is priceless, really. But I think
Sometimes it's a little much for people. Sometimes people go, "Whoa, wait a minute, you're a lot right there."
I can relate. I can relate. But I'm really inspired by what you said, that your best friend who's in corporate, that she's leading that happy of a life, because it's not the normal expectation from working high level corporate. So that's great to hear that.
Yeah, and she, again, I think she retired a couple of years ago, and now she does kind of more higher level board work. So she has more time to spend at home, but it doesn't mean that she's not busy.
Mm-hmm.
And she involves herself in updating things in the house and doing decorating and other things. Like, she makes sure that her time is well spent, and she's never sitting around waiting for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm kind of the same way.
Right.
I try to always just be busy and then take the downtime when you need it.
Right. Like attracts like.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
what is one client experience that brings a smile to your heart?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so many. Honestly, there have been so many that just make me smile, and I'm thankful. Whenever I have a client who chooses me, and I know they could have chosen a handful of other people. They're friends with other agents as well. When that happens, it makes me feel like grateful, just because they trust me and they know I'm not just a friend they're picking. I'm a person who will do the right job and communicate with them and let them know what's going on and be very professional. So I think when someone does that for me, it makes me work even harder to do well for them, to show them, yes, you picked the right person. So I think that experience.
Right. Yeah, that's beautiful. How do you feel you have made a difference in your community?
I try to give back. I try to do things for the community that are architectural or like sitting on committees for the local, like Hamilton, I did the BZA, Leesburg, I was on the architectural review board. I try to involve myself in things that will help with the long term of what's going on there. Now where I live, I've involved myself in the HOA board. So I made sure at the very beginning when the builder turned it over that I'm involved so that I can help navigate the positivity. Because I've lived in HOAs where it's not so lovely, and I just think that if you can affect change, do it. Like be there.
It's the small actions in your backyard
Right.
that add up. They amplify to really good things.
Right.
And you're right. If an HOA starts negatively,
Right.
oh my goodness, that could go downhill fast.
And we're close to commercial right on the corner there, and there could be some really ugly escalations that could happen. So I try to see like 12 steps ahead of things and try to, be the person to say, let's problem solve this. Let's not let this become a problem. Let's get ahead of it and just figure out how we lay out a good roadmap so that things can go in a good way.
Would you describe yourself as a visionary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
I do. I see things a lot of times before they happen, and I go, ooh, yeah, we can stop that now. Let's not let that happen.
Wow.
Just because of our experience, right? We've been around for a while and we've seen things that have happened and go, I really wish we could have changed that. How could we have changed that? And then I lay awake at night sometimes, problem solving, literally just going, that's the dumbest thing I've ever thought of. And then I wake up the next day and go, okay, I have the solution. Right?
We're the same person.
I know, it's crazy. And my brain
you dream about these things, right?
I
Not
do.
other things, but like what's going on in your life, your work.
And if there is a problem, like I said, sometimes I'll just get up from my desk and take my walk, because then listen to music, get out of your space, get out of wherever the negativity is coming from, and just try to drink in something that's a little bit more positive. And a lot of times, people get that motivation in the shower. I get it from my walks.
Yeah.
I get it from physical exercise and just de-stressing.
That just makes sense overall.
Yeah.
A mentor of mine years ago taught me, and she's a creative, and she could spend a lot of time looking in her area of interest.
Yeah.
And you can go down lots of different rabbit holes of pretty things to get out of her mind and to really generate more. She'll look at a tractor magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Something totally different.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to sometimes give your brain a break.
Yeah.
And walking, it's healthy.
Well, this is going to sound a little strange, but coming from me, just because of my life experience, but I found that if I can sit and manifest a little bit about the things that I want to happen, it's not wishing. You're not
Right.
wishing. You're actually opening up your energy level so that you can bring in the good stuff, because there is something to that. And if other people feel it, right? So if somebody meets me for the first time and they feel that I'm open, not closed, or happy and there to help them and in a positive way, they open up too. Right? You just smile at a random person walking down the street, guess what? You get a smile back.
Right. Absolutely. It's a lot of things you do. It's the way you hold yourself in conversation, letting other people in, making them feel comfortable, connecting. Speaking of which, how that person you pass and you smile, how do you meet new people? How are you connecting with people?
Are you kidding me right now?
So many.
I mean, so many people. No, I just walk up to people and start talking to them, like randomly. And sometimes people kind of go, who are you? But I'm on the bike trail yesterday, and this woman's looking at there's a map on the side of the Carolina barbecue, and it has the whole bike trail, and I just noticed it. And she's standing there with her bike and she's looking at it, and I said, I just noticed that. That's so cool. She said, I'm picking my next destination. I said, well, where are you, are you going uphill or downhill? We started talking about the trail. So, I just meet people randomly. In the grocery store, I talk to people. All the staff at the Percival Giant knows me. And when I'm in Percival, I stop in there so I can say hi to my friends. I just, the dentist office, everybody, you just go and you meet people wherever you go.
Well, you're leading with a smile.
I try.
It makes you more approachable.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we're kind of in the South, right?
Right.
Speaking of the trail, do you have a bike? Are you a cyclist yet?
No, I've had bikes over the years, and I do like riding bikes, but I find for me the physical effects of walking a 17.5-minute mile, 2 to 3 miles a day, for me, the benefits outweigh being on a bike. I'm not trying to get somewhere fast.
Right.
I'm trying to get to a fitness goal. And my fitness is so different than it used to be. One thing people don't know about me, I taught jazzercise.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, so I did that. I got that certification like in 2000. And I was doing that when I was working at AOL. So I would go to work during the day, and then I would teach fitness classes at night.
And then show houses on weekends.
And then show houses on weekends. So for me, fitness is always been a goal. Not to be thin, just to be fit, to be healthy, to take care of my body, to make sure that I feel good so that I can radiate that and give that out. So as you get older, injuries, knees, ankles, things. So walking seems to be the one thing I can do without hurting myself.
It's a good pace for you right now.
And I do ballet bar too. So, you find those things.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So you mentioned obviously you make friends everywhere you go, and even when you go back out to Percival, you stop at Giant to say hi to your friends.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
Was your name ever like on the shopping cart or on the little checkout counter things?
No, I never did that.
No.
I just talk to people. I mean, they just, you know, I say hi to the managers. I ask questions about things. I don't know why that is. And then I'll see my neighbors in the grocery store. So I just, you know, I just will see people that I know.
So it's not a quick trip in and out of the grocery
No,
store.
and at the Giant in Ashburn, where I have started to go now, but I go to both. But one of the checkout ladies, Suzanne, lives in this area, and she was at the checkout station, and I said, Suzanne, and she's like, oh my God. Hey, you found me. I'm like, I'm stalking you. But it was just funny because I knew her and she knew me. And she's like, I live here now, and I'm here now. And so this is just too funny.
Yes.
And people like it when you recognize them. They like it when you ask about them. They like it when you care a little bit to say, how are you? It's good to see you. What's going on? You know, there's something to that.
Especially now, we're all starving for some true connection, you know, not social media surface level,
Right.
You know, we're hesitant because of space and time and
Right.
COVID in our past. And people really need that connection and to feel recognized and seen. So I think you're naturally connecting just because of the person you are. Do you have any specific systems that keep you connected with people?
Yes, I mean, I manage, you know, obviously I manage my list of people that I mail to and that I keep current with, or I invite to my events or things like that. So yeah, I mean, I handle that.
Yeah, wonderful. Who would you like to work with? Who's your ideal client?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, you know, you would want to say they're all ideal, because when you start working with somebody, you just figure out what you have to know how to read personalities. And you have to understand what kind of person you're dealing with. So I might work with somebody one day who's very open and will text you or email you, and then I'll work with somebody who only wants to be phone called. She doesn't want a text, or she doesn't want an email. So you just have to figure out who your person is, and then work in their manner. So I think they all become ideal if you just manage their expectations and make them comfortable.
Yeah, I was taught something years ago: just simply mirror the other person,
right? And
that will give you a comfortable setting. So sit, talk at their level, type thing.
I tend to talk fast. That's one of the things that I have been working on, but it's hard when you're hardwired as a border collie.
As a border collie.
It's my nickname. Some of my friends call me Border Collie, so or Border Kelly. Just shared that with you.
I love that. I don't know that I have a nickname. Interesting. So I feel like you're probably listings dominant. What would you say your percentage of listings to sellers to buyers?
I think so. I think it's 2/3 listings and maybe 1/3 buyers. But I'm happy to work with buyers at all times. I just have a marketing machine that works well, and I have that process down pat, and people understand that. They know when they hire me. There's a couple neighborhoods that I've listed many houses in because the neighbors just keep saying, you have to call this person. She's the best. And I appreciate that. I love those referrals, and I work even harder for the next one to make sure that I'm going to get it, and make sure they're not going to, you know, worry that they're not going to get full benefits with what I have. So I just think, you know, I love that part of the job, because you can take the beautiful photos with your photography people, and then they do the drone for me, and then I get to look at it and put it all together as the creative. For me, I love the design. I love the composition of the photos and making sure they're in the right order. And I still do that piece myself. I have to. That's just me.
The little details are important. While you are an independent agent and not part of a greater team, but you do the volume of a greater team, you're not doing it alone. You do have great support. Like you mentioned, you have your systems in place. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how your systems are set up?
I work with a marketing partner, Fusion Marketing, and they do help with that collection of all the people that I need to keep up with. And they do the mailings for me, and they take care of all the connections. They do a lot of the social media posting on my business pages, but I do all the organic stuff on my own page. So a lot of times we'll do paid ads, and they'll take care of that. I have a person that does my Google AdWords for me, so that's not something I would ever want to do, because it's very detailed and it can be very scary. I have a contacts coordinator, Chrissy Schellenberger with Real Advantage, She's fabulous, and she has a team of ladies who also are fabulous. When I have a contract, it goes right to Chrissy, and she knows exactly what to do, and I'm in it the whole way, but my clients are well cared for there because nothing gets dropped. Right. She has processes, she has, everything in place, and I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. If I'm here with you, if I'm here with the client, I know Chrissy's taking care of ordering the well and septic or the termite report or whatever it is. And when I get back, I say, oh, she's done all these things. Okay, here's what I need to do today for that. And then I have Lori Kaufman. She is my right arm. And Lori, does everything else. Everything else. She picks up brochures. She drops off booties, shoe covers. She will plan parties for me. She will just do anything that I need done. Plus, she's like my little sounding board. Yeah. Sometimes we'll call each other and go, how's your weekend? We just and sometimes you just have to have a friend and assistant that you can do that with. But she's singularly focused on like database stuff. She's really good with the meticulous entry and checking and making sure things are right. And sometimes I'm flighty. I got to go to an appointment. I got to be here. I'm on the road. I'm doing this. And she has to sit down with me and go, we're working on this right now. And sometimes the border collie needs that.
It's like the sheep are rounding you up.
She rounds me up. She gets me up to point A. And then I've got Sue and of course Liz in the office who are constant support. If I have a problem or I even have something to share, I just reach out to them and they'll help if I have a problem or they'll look something up or, so I have a great network of people that make this engine go. It's not just little old me. I never take all the credit. No.
Well, I think you have been very smart to design it that way, and your strengths, and then having people that can complement that. I can see why, a buyer or seller would say, yeah, I feel the confidence right here.
I'm not stressed or frazzled when I'm taking a listing. Oh my gosh, there's so much to do. I know what needs to be done. I know who to call. I know how to get it done quickly, and it's process, and it's all kind of perfected, and I'm tickled with that.
Right. Yeah. In my mind, you've built a business of abundance, not desperation, right? So would you say there's anything you have done over the years that has put you in this place that you've had this type of growth? Is there like a magic button, secret sauce?
I think for me, it's not grabbing at every shiny object, not looking at what's the next big thing to invest in so that my business will grow exponentially. I think you just have to, like all of the top leaders and top coaches will tell you, take care of your people, take care of your clients, take care of your friends, and take care of your family, because that's where the business comes from. And if I look at what work I've done this year, that is where most of my business has come from, is those repeat clients or those new clients, the people that I've met that have become new clients this year, or people that have referred me because they liked me. So I think at the end of the day, that's how this business works. And Zillow can call and say, oh, you can buy these zip codes and become the master person in these zip codes. Well, it doesn't always work that way, and you spend a lot of time and money just sitting back going, okay, when's this magic bean going to grow for me? And I'm the magic bean. So right.
So water the magic bean.
I am the magic bean. So I'm the one that has to do the work. And if you're not out there taking care of people, then the work doesn't happen.
Well, I think when you are focusing on that relationship, the relationship will then focus on you. Right. So when you step out of the room, they're talking about you, right? You have people that are saying your name when you're not in the room, in the way of, you need to talk to Kelly. If you're making a move, Kelly is your person. They have so much confidence in you that they're helping you build your business. And I can't think of a smarter way to do it. I think some of the tools we have now make it a little faster than it might have been, but you've got such a great platform that you've created where people think of you first, that they think of you as the go-to person. So congratulations. That's pretty impressive.
I know
not easy.
I think social media helps with that a lot.
It amplifies it.
It amplifies it, or just reiterates it. So
yeah. Final question.
Okay.
Unless you have something else you want to hit, but will you share something about real estate that you think is important for others to know?
I think we touched on that before, that real estate is never about sales. It's never been about a sales position or selling anything. Real estate will sell itself. You have to take care psychologically of the people and what their needs are. So if you don't ask the right questions, you won't get the right answers. Therefore, you won't get them in the right home, and then they'll either go somewhere else or they'll get bored and just go away. But you have to make sure that you take care of what drives people to buy or to sell a home. You know, even when you list a house and somebody says, I know exactly what I want to do, I know blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I ask a question and they go, I didn't even consider that. You know, what are you going to do when you get to this place and you've got all this extra furniture? Like, we need an estate person to help get some of the furniture out the door for you. So I think that's it in a nutshell. Real estate is psychology first. And it's just hard for people to get that.
Right.
They just know, I want to move, or I want to buy a house and I want to go there. I want to be closer to my parents or farther away from my sister.
Right. Well, it's because you're serving the person, the people involved, and they all have such different situations or stories. And if you can take a moment and listen, ask the right questions, you're able to give them the information that they didn't know they needed.
That's right.
So, and you really come from in their minds, you have then provided a lot of value.
You do, because you then bring more questions, like the estate sale, or you know, do you need this lawnmower? Are you going to take this with you to your condo? And so we can solve a lot of problems. We can help with a lot of the issues, or, you know, donation stuff. I have companies that come and will take things away. I have companies that will come and help you pack things up. I mean, there's a lot to moving and selling and or buying.
Well, it's helping them through like their time frames. You know, as you said, is, you know, a lot of your clients are now kind of in that empty nester stage. You know, what is that going to look like? What are the steps we need to take? Right. And it's not necessarily a fast process. It could be something over a couple of years, but I would imagine you're there from like that beginning conversation to the end. Like it's an open, ongoing conversation.
Right, and I have all the people that I use for myself and for my clients. So I have a lot of different connections that I can put them with, for movers, for I hear over and over again, I use that so-and-so, that connection that you asked me, and they were awesome. That painter, that house cleaner, that mover, or whatever. And if I hear that they're not, then we look for another group. But everybody that I've ever kind of worked with has done such a great job taking care of people as well. So you just want to surround yourself with those good people.
You're clearly a great resource.
I try to be.
Is there anything else we should cover before we wrap up?
Got a recipe for me?
A recipe for you. I am not the cook in the house, but I will fire some off your way.
I need some recipes.
Recipes.
Yep.
All right, everybody send Kelly their favorite recipe.
That'd be great.
Are you cooking more?
I am. I have this big kitchen, and I have a lot of counter space, and I have lots of friends and family to cook for. So I'm enjoying it.
Ah, it's a beautiful kitchen.
Thank
for
you.
sure. I love the
Thank
size
you.
of the island. Well, as we wrap up today, I want to thank you for being here,
Thank you.
Kelly Gayton with Berkshire Hathaway PenFed Home Services.
Mouthful.
It is. And I will put in the show notes all the ways they can contact you. Do you have a preferred way of contact?
I don't. Text, email, call. My phone is pretty much glued to my head.
Well, and I feel like you said earlier, you meet people where they are. If they want to text or they want to call, you're available to them in the way that works best for them.
Facebook Messenger. I don't specify.
All the places.
All the above.
Do you find the same thing I do when you're chatting with your friends, that you have to go 3 different places to look for where the conversation ended?
Yeah. What were we talking about? No, we were over there, or it was on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I know your time is valuable. I hope your community loved hearing a little bit more from you, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.